Good evening, I'm Sarah Sapsanamma. Let's begin with the top stories of the hour. Kathmandu District Court slaps cricketer Sandeep Lamichhane an 8-year jail term for rape. Lamichhane also ordered to pay 300,000 rupees in penalty in addition to 200,000 rupees in compensation to the victim. Police make public Ram Bomjan, who is accused of murder and sexual violence. Preparations underway to present him at the Sarlahi District Court. China says it will never compromise on the issue of Taiwan in its first military talks with the US since 2021, urges the US to stop arming Taiwan. And APF advances into the finals of National Men's Volleyball Tournament, defeating Gandaki. Nepal police also reached the title decider, defeating Army. Cricketer Sandeep Lamichhane has been sentenced to 8 years in jail by the Kathmandu District Court for rape. Lamichhane has also been ordered to pay 300,000 rupees in penalty in addition to 200,000 rupees in compensations to the victim. A single bench of Kathmandu District Court Judge Sisir Raj Thakal handed the verdict today. On December 29, the bench had convicted Lamichhane after concluding that he had raped Goshala 26 in a hotel in the capital on August 21, 2022. A hearing was scheduled today to determine the sentence. The verdict comes 15 months after the case was filed at Goshala Police. In the previous hearing, the court had dismissed that the victim was a minor after evaluating her birth certificate and other documents. When the complaint was filed, Lamichhane was in West Indies to play in the Caribbean Premier League. He was arrested upon arrival at the Trivandrum International Airport on October 2022. The state laws has determined 7 to 10 years prison term for any individual guilty of raping a woman of 18 years and above. Now, police have confiscated around 35 million rupees from the house of Ram Bomjan, who has been accused of murder and sexual violence. A team of the Central Investigation Bureau, CIB of Nepal Police, had arrested Bomjan yesterday. Organizing a press conference today, the CIB made public the cash, mobile phone, laptop, important documents, among other items, from Bomjan's home in the capital's Buranilkanta. As per the Bureau, 33,437,906 rupees was found at Bomjan's house, out of which 30,375,500 rupees was in Nepali currency and foreign currency from 17 countries worth 3,092,406 rupees. It has been revealed from police investigation that self-proclaimed ascetic Bomjan had been living a lavish lifestyle. He had been using the Toyota Fortuner vehicle, which is under the name of Lularam Tamang. The CIB also informed that he had booked a Land Cruiser vehicle for 50 million rupees and had already paid 30 million rupees to the Toyota showroom. The vehicle was ready to be bought under the name of 45-year-old Panil Maharjan of Lalitpur's Bungamati. Maharjan is the chairperson of Bodha Shravan Religious Association. Likewise, Bomjan had also been riding various motorbikes and a scooter. The Sarlahi District Court has given permission to the police on February 6, 2020 to arrest Bomjan in the murder and sexual violence case. The Bureau is making preparations to present Bomjan at the Sarlahi District Court. Bomjan, a permanent resident of Bara's Nisgarh municipality, Ward number 12, has been self-proclaiming himself as an ascetic. Moving on, the Parliament's Law, Justice and Human Rights Committee has directed the government to disclose all details of recently signed agreements with friendly countries. The meeting of the committee held today requested the government for the details of the agreement Nepal had signed. The committee invited Prime Minister Pushpa Kamal Dahal at the meeting today and received information regarding the recently inked agreements between Nepal and India. During the meeting, Premier Dahal informed that stress should not be taken regarding the agreement in which the Indian Embassy in Kathmandu can invest 200 million rupees in projects. Dahal claimed that the agreement is in favor of the country and informed that there was no provision for India to unilaterally select and execute projects. Premier Dahal also said that such cooperation has been extended to Nepal by Japan, the United States of America, China, Australia, among other friendly nations. He also said that India had reservation to buy the electricity produced in Nepal by the hydropower projects with Chinese investment. Premier Dahal also informed that a breakthrough would come on the Pancheshwar project in a few days' time. Now, daily life has been crippled in eastern Tarai region due to dip in mercury and cold wave. All districts of the Madhya province have witnessed cold spell, which has affected low-income households the most. Daily wage workers have also been reporting of difficulty going about their days due to cold wave. Likewise, local hospitals have been receiving an increasing number of patients with fever, cold, asthma, chest pain and typhoid, among others. Children and elderly population are also the most affected, and many local levels have decided to close community and religious schools. It's time now for our segment Public Pulse, where you text us with your opinion. The question is, who is responsible for the failure of provinces and local levels in formulating laws? Your options are A, provinces and local level themselves, B, federal government, and C, lack of resources and expertise. The voting is on. Type NEWS, select your option A, B or C and send it to 34001 to share your opinion with us. Welcome back. The district hospital Bajura has begun providing physiotherapy services. The hospital management has an investment of over 1 million rupees, which was made to procure health equipment and hire a physiotherapist with diploma qualification. The hospital believes locals in the region who suffer from joint problems, nerve issues will not have to go elsewhere for therapy. Most had been travelling to hospitals in Dhangari, Kanchanpur and Nepalganj, among others, for therapy services. Let's move on to international update. China has said it will never compromise on the issue of Taiwan in its first military talks with the United States since 2021. It urged the U.S. to stop arming Taiwan and take its concerns seriously. This comes just days ahead of pivotal elections in Taiwan, which could push the island further towards or away from Beijing. China claims Taiwan as part of its own territory, but the island sees itself as distinct from the Chinese mainland. China expressed its willingness to develop healthy and stable military-to-military relations with the U.S. on the basis of equality and respect, said the Defense Ministry readout. It went on to say that the U.S. needed to take China's concerns seriously, adding that Beijing would not make any concessions or compromise on the Taiwan question and demand that the U.S. side honor the One China principle, relevant commitments, stop arming Taiwan, and not support Taiwan independence. Taiwan is a key flashpoint in the tussle between China and the U.S. for supremacy in Asia. In 2022, China refused to resume talks as a protest move after then U.S. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi visited Taiwan in August. Their resumption earlier this week follows a deal struck by Chinese President Xi Jinping and his U.S. counterpart Joe Biden during a meeting in November last year. The two-day talks concluded in Washington on Tuesday. U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken met Palestinian Authority PA President Mahmoud Abbas in the Israeli-occupied West Bank today after pressing Israel's leaders to offer a pathway to a Palestinian state. The visit came a day after talks yesterday with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and his war cabinet over Israel's war with Hamas, regional tensions and the future of the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. Blinken would discuss with Abbas the PA's responsibility to reform itself and improve its governance, he said in a news conference yesterday evening, reflecting Washington's view that Abbas, who is 88 years old, needs to overhaul the organization in preparation to govern a post-war Gaza. Russia's most prominent jailed opposition politician, Alexei Navalny, was shown on TV screen during a court hearing earlier today. Navalny appeared to be in a good mood and was seen joking with journalists who gathered in Vladimir region, thousands of kilometers away from the jail Navalny has been transported to. The 47-year-old was tracked down to the IK3 penal colony in Karp in the Yamal-Nenets region, about 1,900 kilometers northeast of Moscow, his supporters said on December 25. The Polar Wolf colony is considered to be one of the toughest prisons in Russia. Most prisoners there have been convicted of grave crimes. China's foreign ministry has expressed anger after Taiwan's de facto ambassador to the United States met with U.S. House of Representatives Speaker Mike Johnson yesterday. Spokesperson Mao Ning said U.S. lawmakers should stop sending wrong signals to Taiwan independence separatist forces and must not intervene in the Taiwan region's elections in any form. The US is Taiwan's most important international backer and arms supplier, despite the lack of formal diplomatic ties with the island, which China views as its own territory. China launched a rocket carrying a science satellite flying over southern Taiwan and prompting an erroneous air raid alert on Tuesday. The Chinese Foreign Ministry accused the ruling DPP authorities to mislead the people and create panic with the satellite launch. Greece has rescued 18 migrants and recovered the bodies of 2 people, a woman and a man, close to a rocky shore on the islands of Lesbos today. The migrants were believed to have reached the island on a boat amid high winds in the Aegean Sea, a Coast Guard official said. According to the migrants' accounts, there were about 36 people on board and some had jumped into the sea. Coast Guards and police searched for more people on shore. Greece was at the front line of a migrant crisis in 2015, where more than 1 million people, mostly Syrian refugees, crossed from Turkey to the European country by sea. Migrant flows dropped significantly before rising again this year. Now, hundreds of thousands of people faced train cancellations across Germany today as a 3-day nationwide rail strike added to travel chaos in Europe's largest economy, where ongoing farmers' protests have also snarled road traffic. The GDL train drivers' union began its main strike in the early hours, joining one by cargo train drivers who walked out yesterday evening. The strikes will continue until Friday evening, forcing national rail operator Deutsche Bahn to run only stripped-back emergency timetables. 1 in 5 long-distance high-speed rail services were running and regional services have been massively reduced, a Deutsche Bahn spokesperson told reporters at Berlin's central station, which is empty of its usual crowds. The rail operator has encouraged people to cancel or postpone all non-essential travel. The long-running row over trains' drivers' pay and working hours flared up again following a 3-week truce over Christmas. And after an effort by Deutsche Bahn to block the latest strikes with a court injunction did not succeed. The GDL is seeking a reduced working week for its shift workers from 38 to 35 hours on current wages. Deutsche Bahn has offered flexibility on working hours but refused to reduce them without a pay cut. The nationwide rail strikes add to Germany's growing economic problems as Europe's largest economy faces weak macroeconomic data, high interest rates, and mounting criticism of the coalition government. Nepal Police Club has stormed into the finals of the 34th National Men's Volleyball Tournament ongoing in Surkhet, defeating 3-1 Army Club. Nepal Police will clash in tomorrow's title decider against Armed Police Force, who defeated Gandaki Province. In the first semi-final played at the covered hall in Birendranagar, Surkhet today, APF defeated Gandaki in straight sets. The first set was very competitive, but APF went on to win it 25-23. APF continued to play well and won the second set 25-20 and the third 25-15 to book a place in tomorrow's title decider. Defending champions, APF reached the final, remaining undefeated in the tournament. In today's second semi-final, Nepal Police Club outclassed 3-1 Army Club in 3 sets. Straight sets 25-21, 25-23, 25-19 to advance into tomorrow's title decider. The title clash between APF and Nepal Police Club is slated for 1 p.m. kickoff tomorrow. The third place match between Army and Gandaki Province has been scheduled to start at 10 a.m. tomorrow itself. That is all for the moment. Thank you for watching. Bye for now.